Hello, this is Heather K. Margolis of Channel Maven Consulting, and thanks so much for joining this presentation on Is Your Website Talking to Your Buyer? We all know that the buyer's journey has changed significantly since the internet has gained popularity. We moved from a sales and demand gen process that was largely centered around a salesperson doing the education to a largely self-serve education process that begins with a keyword search. How much control do we have over that? Today's buyers have access to research like never before and do so regularly when looking at products, services, and competing solutions before making their buying decision. Because today's buyer's journey begins with a search for a keyword or key phrase, that then leads to countless search results and links where articles, white papers, and other documentation are easily available. That means that by the time you reach a prospect, they have already searched online for a keyword, followed the links to become informed, searched other sites for the similar products and services, justified their need, maybe even made the decision to buy, and then they contact a provider. So a couple of things. One, you need to be wherever they are looking. And two, you need to know that when someone comes to you, they're already fairly informed about what they need and how they want to get it. Statistically speaking, about 60 to 70% of this buyer's journey is now done online. And by 2020, that percentage is predicted to rise to 80%. That means direct human-to-human interaction is going out the window. This trend is moving in a direction that makes your website and other online properties, including LinkedIn and Twitter and microsites and other social platforms, critical to your sales process. Are you prepared? All this means that today your website and other online properties have to do the talking for you. No more are we touting how great you are and focusing on you and your company in the website itself. You need to solve pain points right then and there. With the loss of the ability to talk to potential buyers at the beginning of their journey, you now have to talk where and when their journey begins and throughout that entire journey. That means website and social. Today's websites have to be geared toward the buyer's pain points and how you solve those pain points, especially when they have an immediate need, instead of focusing on you and your pain points. So those of you with any B2C or business to consumer experience have been personifying your buyers since the sales process began. Consumer demographics are easy to cultivate when it comes to resale products. Is the person a mom? Is the person a 17-year-old? It's much easier to think about a B2C persona, but now we in B2B have to do the same. B2B is a little different because we're usually not selling to a single person. We're selling to a buyer or an influencer or a type or a role, and sometimes an entire group of people, all with differing genders, ages, and backgrounds. So how do you begin to personify a buyer in your B2B arena? First, ask yourself a few questions. Who's my typical contact within my ideal customer? And this does look at demographics, gender, age, job title. Are they a decision maker or an influencer? What is their typical buying cycle? What pain points do they experience in their role across all aspects of their job? And which pain points can my company solve? How can we help them to better do their job? And it's a little less about the emotion. You know, if I buy a pair of sneakers, it's because certainly they get the job done, but I also like those sneakers. Now it's more about helping that customer build a relationship with your company and understand that you can help them and you know their business. All of this means that the navigation on your homepage should be set up to address the pain points of your buyer's persona, vertical industries you support, or by the category of solutions you offer, and they should lead your potential buyer down a specific path. So again, think about the buyer's journey. Once they get to your website, that's a journey unto itself. You want to ensure that they become educated on products and services that will solve their needs and that you understand exactly what they are trying to accomplish. This means that if you're identifying pain points, you need to continue down that path throughout the rest of your website as well. If you're focused on vertical, you need to identify the vertical and then go down their pain point path as well. Here's a perfect example of how you can identify the pain point and the immediate need of the potential buyer. It's being addressed front and center. You can see grow your business. That's the pain point. The site offers 2 tracks for the buyers, one to follow where they already completed the research phase. Do they already know what they want? And the other is they're ready to try, but they need more information. So always make sure that your website has a call to action. Always make sure that your pain point-based navigation follows the specific path, if that's the path you're going down. And as I said, as you get deeper into the website, you need to make sure that it's continuing to follow the path. So here you see from the Learn More tab, there's additional identification of the buyer's pain points as you lead them down the path to the solution. So one thing you may notice, I've been talking about this website, I haven't been talking about the graphics or the image or the aesthetics of it at all. It's less important. You want to make sure that it's not distracting. You want to make sure that you identify the pain point immediately, and you want to make sure that the path is easy to navigate. Another way to think about navigation is from a vertical perspective. If you know that you have very specific solutions for a certain industry or vertical, healthcare, financial services, or the public sector, if you know that already, then making your website speak to that is going to be even easier. And appealing to a vertical is the best choice for sites where solutions are based on a particular industry or situation. In this case, a mortgage company's appeal to first-time homeowners is vastly different than if the potential buyer is refinancing or buying a second time. I would also say that if you know that your customers are within healthcare, the problems they're having, the pain points they're having are very, very different than those in financial services. You want to think about when someone comes to your site, again, remember, they're almost 80% of the way through their buyer's journey. When someone comes to your website, they want information that is absolutely pertinent to them. If you're talking at a general level about your solutions and it's not speaking to a vertical, some of them might leave. This isn't what I'm looking for. This isn't exactly what I'm looking for. Think about how vertical-based navigation might also be helpful to you if you prefer to focus your audience. If you have an audience that is much more general, one moment you're talking to a mortgage broker, and the next you're talking to a manufacturer, and the next you're talking to a car dealership, then those verticals are so dispersed and your solution might not necessarily be different for each one of those. Then you go back to the pain point navigation we talked about. In this example, the categories are clearly defined, easy for the potential buyer to find the solution to solve their pain point, and it makes the navigation of a very content-intensive website much easier to use. If you know that you have a ton of information, if you know that you solve a lot of pain points, and you already have the copy that you need for each vertical, you could set it up so that you have multiple, so that not only could somebody search by solution, not only could somebody search by pain point, but they could also search by their specific industry or vertical. Making your website persona-based not only impacts the potential buyers visiting, but it also impacts their behavior while on the site and can help or hinder your search rankings in the major search engines. So think, the more visitors you have, the longer they stay, the more pages that they visit, if they come back again, if it wasn't just an accident that they got to you, if they follow any links from your site, or if they share your content, that is really going to help you in your search rankings as well. You want to make sure that the right people are getting to you when they arrive, and that it wasn't just a mistake and they're not going to abandon the site. If they're leaving quickly, if they don't click past the homepage, or if they never come back, you're not putting the right information out there so that the right people are finding you. And when they find you, they're not given a reason why they should stay. So that's something to think about as you're developing your website as well. In addition to all of this great information about your navigation and about persona-based websites, you also want to make sure that visitors are getting what they want when they come to your site. There are certain aspects people just expect to see when they arrive on your website, like a clearly laid out navigation, the social media icons, links to blogs, and other relevant content, including calls to action. So a call to action is important for you as well. You want to make sure that when someone comes to your site, that they're staying there and that they've received some information, but they want a little bit more information. So they're going to download a piece of content and, of course, then give you their email address. So things you want to think about as you are developing your site as well. Is there room for that? Where should it go? And how should someone interact with it? I think it's no surprise to us that mobile internet usage is surpassing desktop usage. As a matter of fact, as of early 2014, over a year ago, 90% of American adults owned a cell phone, 32% of American adults owned an e-reader, and 42% of American adults owned a tablet computer. As of April 2015, mobile responsivity is a critical component to website design, and search engines are actually penalizing websites that are not mobile friendly. So be sure that your website meets the requirements so that you don't lose in rankings. And think about how you would use a website on a mobile phone or tablet today. Make sure that if somebody's looking for your office address, that's easy to find. If somebody wants to revert back to a blog post they had read on your website earlier on their computer, that's easy to find. So make sure that information that is critical to you being the person that they reach out to or the person that they lean on for information and answers is available on your mobile, on someone's smartphone or tablet. If you aren't familiar, Google announced February of 2015 that changes indicated that mobile responsivity has a significant impact on your search rankings. So if you aren't familiar with that information, please be sure to take a look. I would just go search for finding more mobile-friendly search results and Google and see if you can, if your website is compliant with what they're asking websites to do, so that you get found, your rankings are where they should be, and people are able to find you. Okay, now we'll talk about aesthetics. There are some other simple changes in aesthetics that make a difference in the buyer's impression of your website. And remember, this is the first impression that they're getting of you and your business. A few things to think about. Make sure the picture doesn't distract the audience from the main message. Font color and size should be sharp and easy to read. Navigation should be easy to find and clearly titled. And there should be a call to action front and center. Put it on the front page, put it on every page thereafter. When you're thinking about your call to action or what to put there, think about, why does it matter to your audience? Is it worth them giving you their email to get this in return? What do you want them to do once they get there? What's the giveaway or the gimme? Why should they provide their email? Is it worth a data sheet? Probably not. But is it worth a short ebook? Probably, yes. In addition to speaking to your buyers when they're at your pain point vertical category, it's also important to make the navigation easy to navigate, clear and listed in order that visitors can grow accustomed to seeing. Make sure that you think about it, the navigation being easily accessible, clearly titled, and listed in the right order. More information that they're looking for to the left, and information about you to the right. SEO is also very important to being found in search by keywords and search terms that you want to be associated with. Keywords should be used in URLs, the page copy, blog titles, as many times as you can while still maintaining relevance to the people looking at your site. Don't stuff a bunch of different copy with keywords. Make sure your keywords are consistent throughout. So the one keyword that you're attaching to a page should be in the URL, the title, H1, also known as the header, and the first line of copy. And I would also say your meta description, which is how people find you. When they search the keyword, that little description that comes up, that's called your meta description, you should be using it there as well. Meta descriptions on each page help your search engines differentiate your pages from each other and help you rank higher in search results. So make sure that you assign the meta descriptions, or Google and other search engines will assign them for you. And then you run the risk of having a meta description that's pulled from a portion of the page that's not relevant to the content on that page. For example, if you have testimonials on your home page but no meta description, the search engines might assign the testimonial to your meta description. That means when someone searches for you, all of a sudden they see a testimonial. It's much better to have no meta descriptions than duplicate meta descriptions across multiple pages. So never duplicate your meta descriptions. Just take a moment. Make sure you write up what someone is going to be visiting when they go to that page so that they know what to expect as well. Another thing to think about are links from one page to the next, so internal and external linking. Creating links on your website from one page to another, for example, your home page to your blog, or from a page outside your website to your website, or blogs linking page to page, those help the search engines index your site more thoroughly, which in turn helps your search rankings. Linking to external sites, your customers, your partners, other blogs, etc., those help search engines understand your relevancy within your chosen keywords. Linking both internally and externally is really important when factoring your search rankings. So it will absolutely help you get found and rank higher if you're doing all of the other things correctly as well. Prospects are looking at you across the web on your site and on social platforms, even if they don't know it. Having a social presence is important, and linking from your social platforms to your site and from your site to the social platforms is expected by website visitors today. It also helps your SEO because search engines track social media referrals as part of their algorithm. So another thing to think about as you're nurturing and showing link love across all of these different sites, that your social platforms are a big piece of that as well, and making sure that you're posting to and posting from. We mentioned that your website isn't about you anymore. It's about what your customers and prospects need. But the About page is about you, and it's the only page on your site that has carte blanche to talk about how important you are and all of your accomplishments. But more importantly, second to the home page, it's the most visited page on any website during the buyer's journey. Make sure that social icons of your employees are visible and link from the bios to other parts of your website to help SEO. Also make sure that again, people can see you. People want to do business with people that they know or feel that they know. So this is a great way to ensure that. All of the digital marketing efforts help to inform your buyers and increase the SEO value of your website. A fully integrated and buyer-centric approach is the thing that will set you apart from your competition. And in today's buyer's journey, where you don't have a chance to speak to the buyer at the beginning of their journey, your website has to do the talking for you. So think about making sure all components of your site are aligned with your buyer and that their needs are critical, that it's understood through your website, through your social, through all of the online information or personas that you're putting out there, that people will find you and know that you can help solve their pain points. Whenever we look at websites, there are a lot of factors that we take into consideration to give advice on making them better. Here are just a few of our top suggestions. One, add calls to action. Examples include a contact us form, sign up for our newsletter, get a free assessment for X dollar value, download this white paper, ebook, video, whatever it is, or register for an event. Also, avoid heavy copy blocks. You want some blank space. You want to make sure that it's easy to navigate. And we've talked about some of the other SEO suggestions as well. So a couple other general tips. Have links open into a new window. Make sure that somebody doesn't leave your website. So if you're linking from your blog to another blog or from your website to another, that it opens a new tab. Make sure that's a setting. Be sure to include your social icons at the top right or in the footer. I personally prefer the top right. The footer, if you are a well enough known company that people will want to find your links and link to them, your social platforms. And then anticipate your website being viewed on multiple browsers or mobile devices. Does it format properly? Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this presentation. Should you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, and certainly connect on LinkedIn and Twitter.